Hey y'all, it's been a long time, I know, but I am back. So hello to the Vibe family and welcome to the VIBEpisodes of Vision and Vibes podcast, presented by Inspired Bosses. We are so excited that you have found us on your favorite platform. This podcast exists so that we can better understand economics, creativity, purpose, and self-care more clearly, primarily taught by me, the Vibe Master, Kay Johnson. We've decided to share strategies and practices of self-care globally, so those who seek to understand their purpose and improve their lives can do that. As you may know or may not know, Vision and Vibes airs on Sundays at 12 a.m. on multiple platforms, whatever is your favorite. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and YouTube. If you are not familiar with Vision and Vibes podcast, go check us out on any platform you listen to. We will share a few of the most popular sites our podcast is heard on, as you just heard me say. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor, and YouTube, just to name a few. So today, you all, we're going to be talking about women in physical therapy, women in business, so much. I'm really excited about this podcast episode because it's kind of overdue in a way. We've been talking and planning this for some time now, and I'm just super excited to have one of the sponsors who helped me, achieve what I was looking to achieve for the Miss Tennessee Scholarship Competition. And so today we have Katie Jarvis Graves, and I have to say that like that because she just got married, okay, you all? So in her bio, it says Jarvis, but now we're going to change that to Graves, okay? So Katie Graves is from Memphis, Tennessee, but has found that small town life is for her. She loves marketing and public relations and enjoys helping her coworkers overcome their fears of being featured on social media. Fun fact, she loves Dr. Pepper and sweet tea. She is the public relations director for Dynamix Physical Therapy. So everybody welcome Katie.
Hello, Kay. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. It has been overdue. We've been meaning to do this podcast for months now. So I'm just thrilled to be able to do this for you. And just when I remember when I met you, when you were campaigning for your Miss Tennessee pageant, I just thought there's something different about her. And I just see that your light is shining throughout Tennessee and what you do. So thank you for letting me be a part of your podcast.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, y'all. So we got all the formalities out of the way. Now we're going to have fun.
Now we can breathe.
Let's be ourselves as women. And so first, I just want to start just basic. So Katie, can you tell us, how does it feel to be married?
Oh my goodness. So thank you for the congratulations and everything. So I did get married about a month ago. So today's November 8th. We got married October 7th. It was really sweet and just surrounded by loved ones. It's just a special, special moment. So being married has been fun so far. A lot of people say, you get annoyed by your significant other or whatever, but it's been marital bliss for so far. So everyone teases and says, well, Katie, you're just in the honeymoon phase. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Because I love the honeymoon phase.
We'll stay there as long as we can.
Okay. Yes. But he's a good guy. And, I have a lot of, I'm 31. So so a lot of people, I think, feel like they've got to be married by 23 or like by 25 or whatever, but just wait for that right person. Cause you'll know if it's the right deal. Just don't do it for the wedding or for the social media photos, because it's a marriage. So reality comes back. You're with this person for life. So bills are still coming.
Yeah.
It's not like you're living in this la la land,
Right. Right.
So just keep that in mind when you're seeking a significant other, someone who's going to treat you right. And so, and I found mine. So
Yay!
thank you for asking, Kay.
Awesome. So now that we're talking about, those bills that's still gonna keep coming, right? Let's talk about Dynamix and your
Sure.
role at Dynamix. Can you tell us about your journey as a
Sure.
PR, as NPR at Dynamix?
Yeah, absolutely. So I joined Dynamix Physical Therapy last summer, July of 2021, as their public relations director. So they hired me to kind of streamline our social media campaigns, streamline our marketing campaigns. So I place all of the ads for our businesses, and right now we have 13 clinics throughout West Tennessee. And Dynamix is an Inc. 5000 company, and so we just continue to grow and grow and grow every year. So it's a big job keeping everybody kind of streamlined. And also my job is to get us in the media. So get us in the newspaper, get us on the television, talking about the good things that Dynamix does throughout the communities. Speaking of communities, we also do a lot of work in our communities. So we support the different soup kitchens. We are in the different Christmas parades. Any kind of fundraising that's part of the community where we serve, we're typically, you're going to see Dynamix Physical Therapy listed on there. So it's a big job. It's a fun job. I'm based here in Milan, which is our headquarters. This was the first Dynamix Physical Therapy to open back in 2009 by my bosses, Russ Huffstetler, who's from Greenfield, Tennessee, and Heath Ladd, who's from New Bern, Tennessee, Dyer County. And they had this vision of giving the best customer service and physical therapy treatment to their customers. But they wanted it to be different. Healthcare sometimes has a bad reputation, or they're not known for good customer service. So they wanted to change that and change that thought. So they came up with their own business plan, their mission, which is to be the bright spot in our customers' day while pursuing excellence in healthcare and service. Came up with core values that we live and breathe by every single day. Every new team member has to know the mission statement and know the 6 core values. So they've come a long way. So back in 2009, there was the one clinic in Milan, and fast forward 10, 12 years now, and we have 13 clinics. So we're just really, really excited. And it's fun to be a part of a growing company. I mentioned an Inc. 5000. That means that Dynamix Physical Therapy is one of the fastest growing companies in the United States. And it's just incredible to work with these people. Another accolade that we recently got was the 2022 Ascend National Practice of the Year. So that was a big team effort that I helped in, as we gathered different information to prove, why should we have won that award? Right. And so that was a big PR thing, as well, as we had to gather all the different information. We had to gather numbers, the financials. And so we all worked together. We had to tell a story of why Dynamix should be chosen as the 2022 National Practice of the Year. And we did it. I mean, it was just so much fun to be a part of that. And so PR, that had PR written all over it. I had the press release kind of pre-written, that if we won or if we didn't win, because we could have been it's still awesome to be a nominee for the award. So just a lot of prepping in the PR side of things as well. So, but it's been a fun year, and I've been here not even a year and a half. So it'll be a year and a half December. But it's been
that's lucky of the year. I just want to say that.
Yes.
My birthday
I was about to say, is it your birthday and Christmas and all of it?
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's been a lot of fun being the director of public relations for Dynamix. It's just fun.
Could you tell us, because PR may be a foreign language, or it may be something that somebody is interested in.
Yeah.
You may want to know a little bit more about, how to get started.
Sure.
Who's helped you?
Yes.
What they should be doing, what they should be listening to? How did you be preparing those types of things?
Sure. So I have a degree in communications with a focus in public relations and a minor in marketing. So I am using my degree, which is a lot of fun. I went to the University of Tennessee at Martin, and I graduated back in 2014, and then immediately started working for a museum. And that's where I learned a lot of my knowledge that I have today, is just kind of trial and error, and then also having a great mentor starting out. If you are just now getting into the workforce, I highly encourage you to find a mentor that can help guide you, that you can go to, that you trust, to ask different questions, and that they're going to build you up and encourage you. I was lucky and blessed enough that my boss was also my mentor, and she just has taught me so much. And I quote her probably every day, or if not every other day. And now we're friends. She was my boss first, mentor. And now that I've left that company, we're friends now. But we were friends anyway. But just having a mentor who can, like I said, encourage you and also is willing to share knowledge. Because there are some people that they don't want to share their knowledge for some reason. I hope that nobody runs into that. But having a good mentor who's willing, if you ask the questions, though, so you have to put forth yourself and say, okay, now when you're working with a marketing budget, how do you know how much to spend in this area versus this area? And so she was willing to share that knowledge with me. So finding a mentor who is willing to share that information and just encourage you is really, really important in the workforce. And she has helped me blossom. And then when I was ready to have a new challenge, she was encouraging and just said, all right, Katie, this is what you need to do. So anyways, yeah.
Yeah. So, I love what you're saying. Like, that mentor piece is really, really big, because when I think about myself, I'm always asking myself, okay, who's in a better position than I am? Who has certain results that I would like to? So, like, if I want to be an apple tree, I need to be able to produce apples.
Right.
So I need to be able to see that you have apples on your tree, so that I can have apples on my tree as well.
Right.
And like you said, not everybody has the mindset of abundance. You didn't say it like that, but I'm saying it like that. And, we kind of hoard information. And I think we always have to check ourselves, even in certain different areas. It might not just be work, but we do know that our society produces this like grind and step on someone's neck mentality, where it's like, I don't want you to be better than me.
Right.
And everybody doesn't have the infinite gain or the infinite mindset that, like, sometimes Apple is ahead.
Right.
Sometimes Microsoft is ahead.
Right.
So,
and what's important, Kay, is knowing that you can't do it all by yourself. You've got to ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help. I think, like you said, the society is like, this is a dog eat dog world. I got to grind. But, you can ask for help if you're struggling with a concept, or, sometimes I have a writer's block. So I'm like, okay, I need to brainstorm with somebody. So, it's okay to ask for help.
When you say that, and this is gonna kind of go into the more colorism space, but I've always heard, as a Black woman, I've always kind of heard that that's our plight. And since you're not a Black woman, I want to see if those are some of the same things that you all experience as white women in your space, of like maybe not feeling afraid, but almost like you're less powerful if you ask for help.
Well, there is that. I guess I'll look at it a little, if I'm answering your question, as a woman, just in general, a lot of people, if you have a male boss, they may not take you as seriously as if you were a male. I experienced that several times. This was way back years ago, but not currently. But, you know, I think people still have that connotation of, well, you know, she's a woman, she should be sweet. And if she's being, you know, direct or assertive, you know, people look at it differently than if it were a man saying the same thing. I keep thinking about, I don't know if you know this song by Taylor Swift, like If I Were a Man. Have you heard that one? I think it was on her.
A little familiar.
But she talks about basically, if I were a man, I'd be looked at as like the king of the world. But since I'm a woman, I'm looked at as like, well, she's too hoity-toity, or, you know, she's just flashing her money. So anyways, but I don't know if that answers your question.
What I'm hearing you say or convey to us is like, it's not a black or white or a brown or green or whatever color. It's not a color thing. It's just more of this complex that society has created. As well as the standard that women don't necessarily have in business. Right. I think what you're speaking to is like when in the business world, in some sense, it's like, oh no, you're just too assertive.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, and so people still struggle with that. I know people, you know, in society, we're trying to say, well, you know, women can dominate, women can be leaders, and we can. It's just a little bit harder to break through.
And I think this is where that slogan is coming from. The future is female. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like, there's two sides of that. You know, I believe that the future is female, but I believe that the future is the union, like unity. Like we need both the female and the male to like make this
correct. Correct.
But in the sense of where women have been held down or not seen as dominant or not in dominant positions, I can see that is changing, and that's why that slogan is present.
Right. And it's slowly changing for the good, I think.
Just like this whole thing since COVID hit, you know, got remote jobs, the power is transitioning more to the employee than the employer. Like people are willing to kind of bend rules that we've had from the 9 to 5 to hire the talent that is going to produce the result. Right. Even in my, you know, campaign and my initiative with Miss Tennessee was to be able to go into companies and have conversations around self-care and like, what are you doing for self-care? And I just recently went to a company. I'm not going to say it online because I don't have any, you know, I don't have any permits to say.
Right.
We have a wellness station. Even I went and I sat in and for a training, and they had we had breaks. But as I was going to use the girls' room, we had this coloring sheet on the wall, and you know it was just different colors from people that probably have just came by and colored in some things. And I was like, that's super neat to have.
That's cool.
You know, and I've read some books, and you know, because at the end of the day, we're all children, or we all want to have fun, and we want to be inspired, and we want to be doing things that we love. And so if our spaces of work can create that for us, it's like, okay, I don't have to feel like work is just a task or something I have to do, but I have the opportunity to add value to this place and this space, and this space and this place understands that I'm a human being.
Exactly. And that's what's neat about Dynamix is they've created this culture that people want to work here. They walk through here and they're like, everybody's smiling at each other. Like they like each other, you know, because I go out. So I'm not a physical therapist. I'm a PR director. So I got the fun job, which is, you know, I get to promote and share the stories and share the goodness that all of these clinicians are doing for our patients. And that's getting them back to doing what they love without pain. But internally, we have things that are called team ups. And so each clinic on the first Friday of the month or whenever they choose, they do like a lunch and learn, or they buy lunch for their team members. And then they do something fun. Like one of our teams down in Humboldt, they did like, they were playing cornhole, and just had this big bracket and all that stuff. So that's one thing. Our team up in Paris, Tennessee, they do some outings, even on the weekends, because they just like hanging out with each other. They've created this culture that they enjoy working together and doing their job, and then also the friendships that are forged by working together. So we have those that keep up kind of like that morale. Yeah. And then about 3 or 4 times a year, we bring in every single clinician, every single team member to one location for like a big celebration. So our next one will be our big Christmas party. So we'll have over 150 team members coming together for fellowship, food, and fun, and just kind of to celebrate the year of the accomplishments that Dynamix as a whole has achieved. Another thing that we do, which is, I work with a lot of sports people who are very competitive. And so it's fun. We have this thing in the summer called X Games. So you can kind of see my X, that's our logo for Dynamix. But we've called it X Games. And so what it is everybody's broken up into I think we had about 12 or 15 teams last year. And it was friendly competition of kickball. We had 3-legged race, water balloon toss, tug of war, just a fun afternoon off, but we all get together and see friends from different clinics and get to meet other clinicians that maybe some people down in our Southwest region, down in Shelby County, Millington area, haven't met the Union City team. So it's just a lot of fun. And just, again, that culture, that Dynamix that we have created, people want to work at this place. So it's just a lot of fun. So that kind of goes on to that mental wellness as well, making sure that they know that they are, that this leadership team is invested in every employee that comes through the doors.
That's important. On some people's list, company culture is very
number one. Yeah.
It's very important. So let's kind of shift this conversation and talk about physical therapy in rural communities.
Sure.
How challenging is it, or what opportunities are there, or how are you feeling about it being in PR? Like,
sure.
What's going on in that realm?
Great question. So when I first joined, I learned all the history, and I was thinking, as a PR person, marketing, I was like, why do they choose Milan? Why are they choosing all these small locations? Why not go for the big ones? Why not Nashville? Why not Memphis? Even Paducah, Kentucky, all these bigger cities. But if you stop and think about it, all those cities have multiple physical therapies, multiple physical therapy locations. But it's the people in the rural communities, they're having to have surgeries. They're having to have their knee replacement, or if a student athlete tears their ACL, they've got to go somewhere to have the surgery, and then also to follow up with that physical therapy to make sure that they get stronger and better than they were before they, when they walk through the doors. So being in these rural communities, because people get hurt in Greenfield, people get hurt in Union City, Milan. And so to have this dynamic, pardon the pun, but this extremely elite physical therapy experience in these rural communities is pretty genius, if you ask me, just because those people, if there's not a physical therapy clinic in their communities, they're having to drive 30 or 45 minutes to Jackson, or an hour or two to Nashville, an hour or two to Memphis to receive that physical therapy 3 times a week. If you add that up, that's gas money, that's probably food, that's precious time. So being in the rural communities has been a benefit for Dynamix, because there's really not a whole lot of competition, because the big companies don't want to come to these rural communities. So they've really figured it out on opening clinics in the rural communities. Something that's interesting about the business model because everyone's like, well, why'd you choose Greenfield? Or, why did you choose finally Jackson? We're in Jackson. but the leaders, they find the person within the company who wants to go back and serve the community where they're from. So, for example, when I joined, we were about to open Jackson. And so I got to know Kathleen, who's our clinic director out there, and she's from Jackson. She was born and raised in Jackson, Tennessee. She had worked at our Milan location for about 6 years, commuting back and forth. But when they approached her and said, "What are your thoughts on opening in Jackson?" She was like, "Absolutely." Because I want to be able to serve my teachers, my family, my friends. This was the community that raised me. So I want to give back to this community by serving them with the best physical therapy and sports medicine services in the region. So it's really a unique business model of they find the leader who is willing to go to those communities, because they know that if they find that right person, that right fit, the success is going to follow along with it, because that person is now in charge and is responsible for the results. So it's really, really cool. It's really cool. So they're not dictating, we're opening here. Now we got to find the person. They're finding the person first and then the location.
I love that. And see, I think that's what helped us understand how aligned we were, as me as an individual and on my journey, and then Dynamix as a company, and then meeting you, of course. It was like, oh yeah, you were like, oh, I checked out your website, and it looks like, oh my goodness, you're like so in alignment. And then too, I believe when my grandfather injured himself, it's been a few years, maybe 4 years or so. I believe that he went to Dynamix here in Humboldt, Tennessee.
Yep.
And we don't understand sometimes. I think rural communities sometimes have an issue of retaining the talent, and there's a mindset of like, I need to leave here and I want to just go somewhere else. But like you said, if you can find a person who wants to give back to the community,
right,
in whatever way that they see is best or is a need, then you're doing something of value to the people who live there. Because like you said, people are peopling everywhere.
Right.
We're injuring ourselves doing things we probably shouldn't have done, but did it anyway.
Right.
Playing sports, and we want to have a future even if we get injured. We want to be able to know that we have access. And when you were talking, that word came to my mind. It's about accessibility.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Kay, is the access. Because, again, that I have a friend who works he's a physical therapist in Memphis. And I asked him, I said, do you have people coming from Covington? He said, yes. People are driving 45 minutes just to come here 3 times a week. And I say, listen, there's a Dynamix, in your community that's 5 minutes away. So it is that access to great healthcare services that we offer.
And I love that I think there's another broader understanding of how healthcare is not just a hospital in this conversation.
Right.
Healthcare is physical therapy, occupational therapy, mental, counseling, and all those things combined. And I like that Dynamix has those core values that is teaching their team, their employees, partners, or whoever that's coming in. It's like, hey, this is our mission. This is our core values. And we need you to understand that so that we can illuminate that when we're doing and providing services. Exactly.
And you touched on one thing that I wanted to share that we're really excited about is we have now offer services for occupational therapy at several of our locations here in Milan at headquarters. We'll be serving Humboldt and then also Dyersburg. So we have 2 OTs on staff now, and a COTA, which is a certified occupational therapist assistant, and she'll be kind of floating around through all of those. So that's something new that Dynamix has added. So the bread and butter, we are physical therapy through and through. We help, I call them savvy seniors. We help the savvy seniors with their hip, rehab with their hip replacements, their knees, their back pain. But then we also help those student athletes, the younger ones who have injured themselves playing basketball, baseball, football. I mean, we have a slew of athletic trainers throughout West Tennessee. We now cover over 17 schools and sports teams through our athletic training services. So we're out on the fields, we're on the court. If a student gets hurt, our athletic trainers are out there immediately, doing all their assessments. And what's neat about that is that athletic trainer is out there at their practices, games. And so they've established these relationships with those students, coaches, parents, and also doctors. So if that kid gets seriously injured, it's an easy transition from field to the clinic if they have to have physical therapy after their injury. So they feel comfortable. They've already had that established relationship with their athletic trainer. And it's about that trust,
Safety is there.
Right.
I want you to talk about the women wellness that you all have going on. And then I want you to let us know if Dynamix is hiring and who do we need to talk to?
Okay. So we're really excited. So we have several therapists. One is in Paris. Her name is Sky, and she offers women's health, women's physical therapy, kind of on a basic level for women who are pregnant and also dealing with postpartum pain. And then we also just have a new team member. Her name is Rachel. She's out of our Jackson clinic, and she has a lot of certifications that I can't even name in women's pelvic health. And so what's neat about these two women is they can help women who are pregnant, who may have, let me think of the word. I can't think of the word. But let's just say, because a lot of women who sneeze I think it's called competence or something, but it's where you accidentally wet yourself, but that's with pregnant people and also older people. But they can do this physical therapy that helps with that muscle building to where it's not just your Kegels, but there's some other internal muscles that, can help with that. And so Sky and Rachel can help all of those patients who are experiencing that. Another thing that Sky has told me is with the dry needling. So Dynamix, whenever you hear Dynamix, we're always talking about dry needling. So what she does with women who may have had a C-section is she goes in there and does manual techniques. So she kind of moves the scar around a little bit, and then she'll use some dry needles to help loosen up the scarring. I'm not the expert on this, but I'm just giving, layman's terms, to where there's not going to be a scar, or if there is one, it's not as prominent as it would if you didn't have any physical therapy or the dry needling. So that's something neat that our physical therapists are now offering in Paris and Jackson. So we may have to do another podcast and include Rachel on that way, because she'll have, that girl is insanely smart, and just we're so excited to have her part of the team to be able to offer that women's health service.
You know what? I'm open to that. I'm down for that.
Yes. Yes.
On board.
So contact me in spring 2023 and we'll get her on there.
Awesome. Okay. So the last thing before we go, I'm going to give you, we want to know if Dynamix is hiring, who do we talk to? Because we're hearing that your culture is so amazing. And I think people might want to have the opportunity to say, okay, I want to check them out,
Sure.
So tell us where to check you all out.
Yeah.
You guys are hiring, or if you don't know, that's fine.
Okay.
Then I'm going to give you space to just share any last and final words.
Sure. Awesome. Well, first of all, Kay, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. Just talking to you about Dynamix and just women in the workforce, mentorship. So thank you for having me on here. So if you want to find out more information about Dynamix, you can go visit our website at dynamix.life. And that's spelled DYNAMIX.life. You'll see all of our services that we offer, blog posts, press releases, our team members, our different locations, everything you'll need to know about physical therapy, the services we offer, how we offer our services. And then, of course, things about insurance and all of that. We are always, or not always, but currently we're looking for physical therapists. So who are willing to move to West Tennessee. It's, I'm a city girl. So moving from Memphis to small town USA was a little bit of a culture shock, but over the years, I mean, I have just fallen in love with the community where I live. So small town life is definitely for me these days. But yes, so physical therapist, and I can give you contact for that. Our recruiter, her name is Ann Kale, and you can email her at ann@dynamix.life if you're interested in that. And then if you're just a student who kind of wants to see what's the hype about physical therapy and occupational therapy and sports medicine, we have what's called PCAs, which are patient care ambassadors. And this position is mainly part-time. It's great for students who are just wanting to, like I said, kind of dabble and see what the hype is about Dynamix. But patient care ambassadors, they are the ones that are helping our patients walk through their exercises after they have experienced manual therapy from our therapist, because that's what Dynamix is known for, is our hands-on based approach rather than just walking you through exercises. So, but yeah, patient care ambassadors, that's a great way to just kind of see what it's all about. If you want to shadow any of our physical therapists, I just encourage you to reach out as well. You can reach out to for PCAs at careers@dynamix.life, CAREERS @dynamix.life. So that's where we're hiring right there. And again, Dynamix, it's so much fun to be part of because we are continuously growing. I have a feeling we'll be an Inc. 5000 company for the 4th year in a row next year. We've already made it 3 times. So I just think we're just going to be on there until we're number 1. So,
it's truly great. I'm truly grateful and appreciative to be connected to, not only Dynamix, but to you, Katie. This conversation, I think, has been helpful to me in some of my career and professional transitions that I'm in.
Right.
So I'm just excited for my listeners, the Vibe family, to hear what they can take as value from this. So you guys heard it. She gave you a name. She gave you a couple of things to kind of look into. So if you want to know more about Dynamix, go to dynamix.life to find more information about Dynamix and Katie.
Yes. And I have one other thing. If you want to kind of really see our culture, go follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Dynamix Physical Therapy and Fitness is the main page for our Facebook. And then Dynamix PT on Instagram. We're posting stuff about what's going on. We'll share patient testimonials. We'll share, cool things that are happening in the communities that we serve. But, it's just really neat to be a part of this company that 2 guys, they had a dream. Kay, I think about you and being an entrepreneur, starting your own business, podcast, everything that you have going on. That's what Russ and Heath did, is they came together. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to be successful in 6 months, when you're first starting, or even a year. But if you are determined and dedicated and you 1000% believe in what you are doing, success will follow.
Mic drop.
Awesome.
Okay, you all. Well, you've heard it here on Vision and Vibes. Family, we love you. We wish you more success. We wish you an abundance mindset. We encourage you to get you a mentor that you're able to ask questions and to be yourself around, and even to share your struggles. We want you to know that you can ask for help. It's okay to not know. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be facing a challenge. And we look forward to maybe even having a new conversation with Rachel and some more of the Dynamix family. But again, Katie, we thank you for being here on Vision and Vibes podcast. I thank you personally, S.K. Johnson, here, and congratulations on everything. And we wish you more success and beautiful life.
Thank you, Kay.
All right, family, vibe out. See y'all.